What's going on, guys?
Fuck Trump. Hail Satan.
The end. Podcast over.
Yeah, for some reason,
See you next week, guys.
Shut her down, guys.
For some reason, I knew you were gonna say that. Oh shit, that is
For some
funny.
reason.
For some reason, for some special
reason.
So
So we're not going to get political here, guys.
Well, I know we discussed it, but for some reason it's pulling us in that angle because of all the crap that's happening. But we don't want to start with that though.
No.
We want to wait just a few minutes. We were just laughing about something that I think is just a complete ripoff. That doesn't mean I'm not going to buy it though.
I'm absolutely going to buy it.
I'm going, after seeing the trailer, I am 150% going to buy this.
Okay. Genshin Impact is the game.
AKA
Who wants to tell us about it?
Breath of the Waifu.
Breath of the Waifu. That's right. That's literally what it is.
Breath of the waifu or breasts?
Breasts of the Waifu.
Either way, I'm down.
Either way,
Yeah.
Either way, I'm in.
Either
Take
way.
my money. Take all my fucking money.
Exactly.
Take all my rupees.
It's like you take all my. They're gonna take all your rupees.
Yep.
All right, guys, get this. PlayStation exclusive. Breath of the Wild plus anime waifus plus Ni no Kuni-esque combat equals
Dude,
Genshin.
it looks like all of that.
Dude, yeah, it actually looked pretty sick. I was actually surprised at how much I liked what I saw right off the bat, because based off of the name of the game, I did not think that I was going to really like it, but then I saw it, and I was actually kind of surprised at what I saw.
For some reason, when you first mentioned Genshin Impact, I thought it was going to be like a gaming event or a gaming tournament or something to that effect.
It does sound.
Does kind of sound like
Yeah,
that.
you guys
Yeah.
going to Genshin Impact 2019?
Yeah, man.
When I first heard the name, it made me think of a Genji. What is it called? Brotherhood of the Blade or something like that. Remember that game that was shown off at E3 back in like 2006 for the PS3,
Right.
where with the giant enemy crab, you gotta hit its weak spot for massive damage.
You remember Too Human?
No one remembers Too Human.
That's by choice.
Even though it was in development for 25 years or whatever, no one remembers it.
Yeah. So, this game that we're talking about, Genshin Impact, it was showcased at the China Joy Gaming Expo by Sony, and Sony has been advertising this quite a bit.
That's funny, because this is the first time that I've heard of this, and if I had heard about it beforehand, I might have actually been like a little bit more excited.
It's not 100% aimed. Maybe it's not 100% aimed over here. 100%
It probably
yet, you know what I mean?
Not, yeah.
Yeah.
But people actually, they started protesting it almost immediately. Like a guy went out in the middle of like this festival and smashed a PlayStation 4 Pro on the ground. Like smashed it in like this protest. And then
That's
a bunch of people stood in front of the
reasonable
Sony.
reaction.
Right. Evidently, some people I saw, and this is just a picture I saw. There's a bunch of people standing in front of the booth for this game and just like holding their middle fingers up.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's definitely one way to do something.
Yeah.
That's definitely not an effective way.
Let you guys
that
know.
A protest in China?
What was it
yeah.
called?
That's it.
What was the name of the event? The China Joy.
No, it was the oh shit, where'd it go? I just like scrolled past
That's
it.
a weird name for an event.
It was
China Joy.
China Joy Gaming Expo.
Yeah, that honestly sounds like something Japanese, like the Japan Joy Rainbow Sunshine and Lucky Day, like Happy Festival. Like it sounds like something Japan would do.
They want to let you know that it's a joyous occasion. Maybe
It could
right?
be the most Japanese thing I've ever seen in my life.
Basically, the people who are protesting it are the same Nintendo fanboys that protested to take Jim Sterling's reviews off Metacritic because he gave Breath of the Wild a 7 out of 10 and brought its overall rating down from like a 98 to a 96.
But that's the thing,
Right.
Those are the people also that don't
Who
realize
fucking
that there are
cares?
better Legend of Zelda games than Breath of the Wild.
Link's
sorry.
Awakening.
I'm sorry to tell you guys, but there are better Legend of Zelda games out there
I mean,
There
Breath
are?
of the Wild's amazing.
than Breath of the
Don't
Wild.
get me wrong. It is incredible.
Yeah. No. Okay.
Not
yeah.
the
Right.
best.
You're right.
That's what I'm saying.
I personally liked Majora's Mask and
I love
Ocarina of
Majora.
Time.
Yeah.
and then you have a buddy of mine, Jeremy, who likes Link to the Past. I actually think that when the new one comes out, the remake, remaster, whatever the fuck it is, I
Link's
think
Awakening.
that one might actually beat it for me, as far as like my favorite one, because
Link's Awakening.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
because
I mean, that's already
are
my
a human
favorite
being
one,
with
so-
a heart.
yeah, exactly. And I play all these like kid type looking games anyway.
Yeah.
Which seems weird because I'm a burly man, but
Yep.
some of the
So
things
burly,
some of
Dave.
the things I play, even I look back and say, "What the fuck is this? What am I doing? Oh god, I should be playing Call of Duty." And
Drinking
Oh,
Mountain
man.
Dew
No,
and
you
eating
shouldn't.
Doritos.
instead, I'm over here playing Little Dragon Cafe.
Punching
I don't know-
drywall.
I don't know what's happening.
Dave,
I know exactly.
never
what's
ever say that you should be playing Call of Duty instead of something else. Be yourself, man.
Yeah, no, I am.
Do
I
you?
play. Okay, my name is Dave, and I play Little Dragon Cafe.
That's okay. My name is Tony,
Dave
and
plays
next week
girl
I'm buying an
game.
Xbox One X.
That's a huge
There
step
you
for
go.
you.
It is.
You've been wanting one for a while.
I've been wanting.
You've
one.
actually
Secretly-
you've been teetering, between the S and the X for a
I
while.
figure if I'm gonna do it, I might as well just fully do it.
Do it.
Okay.
And
Pick your
Just
balls
send it.
all
the X Scarlet's not coming out for a couple years. I can get a couple years out of it.
yeah, no,
Out
I
of
get
the
it.
X, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just send it.
I'd like to have everything, especially some of the 360 backward compatible stuff running. 60 frames per second, and
Right.
I'll just,
Yeah.
It really
even
does.
though it is honestly at the end of the day a modest upgrade between the S and the X, whatever. Fuck it.
Well, I'll tell you, man.
That seems to be the major reasoning behind a lot of our purchasing decisions here in Winterhouse Gaming. Why? Because fuck it, why not?
I mean, we're
Why the fuck
collectors. We
not?
like to have these things, so
Not to
Right.
mention, there's a couple of cool special edition Xboxes coming out. I think earlier today they announced the Gears of War 5. Even though I'm not a fan myself, the system itself looks fucking dope. So-
If you buy it and play it, I will buy it and play it too.
Okay.
The reason I never purchased any Gears of War game is because I never had anybody to play it with, and I just, for some reason, I always just knew that game needed to have multiplayer or don't play it.
Mhm.
I'll play the first 3 with you, Dave. I have 1 through 3.
dude, I mean,
I
that's
haven't-
that's how Gears of War is
Same.
meant to be played with your friends.
Right,
Yep.
but I did play a little
can-
bit of I don't
Ironic.
remember which one was the Berserker where you're inside like this big room and you have to have like this laser beam come down out of the fucking space.
That was in 2, where you with the Hammer of Dawn.
Yeah, it was
You're
fucking
fighting
awesome.
the Brumac at the end.
Yeah, it was really cool. I had
Frozen
a
cave.
lot of fun with that part.
I froze again, didn't I?
We all said we're gonna buy this game.
Yep.
We're gonna buy
Yes.
Genshin
Oh, yeah.
Impact.
There's no doubt.
Yeah. So
Oh.
Day one purchase.
day one purchase. Day one purchase. Well, it's going to come out in 2020
Yep.
sometime. They didn't really say when. I didn't look up if they've already mentioned exactly when, but what I've read, it didn't actually say when. But either way, it's going to be pretty cool.
Did you fix Eric?
I did fix Eric.
Okay.
Yep, he's good.
Eric's fixed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
I've been snipped.
Nobody could hear
No
you.
longer
You can no
works.
longer have kids, Eric. You've been fixed.
It's okay.
I've been muted.
He's like, oh my god, thank God.
All better
Um,
now. Perfect.
Yeah. So, I guess since we're sitting here chatting, there is something in the news right now that we wanted to get into. We didn't really want to get into it, but in all reality, it almost felt forced. I know to me it kind of felt forced, seeing it everywhere, hearing people talk about
the
it.
thing about it is like at this point in time, every video gaming news outlet has covered this before us,
Right.
and maybe it's beating a dead horse.
Oh, congratulations. We're in the majority then.
Right. And you're right. This
It
isn't
is important, though. It's
It
important.
is
It's
important.
something
It really
that needs
is
to be
important.
talked about.
Ultimately, I think
Right.
it's going to be one of those. Like every other time before it.
Well, you're right.
Yeah.
Because ever since, 1973, people have been upset about video games. They really have. I think The first video game was
1976.
76. A game was taken off the shelves. People were freaking out about it.
Too bad
Well,
we can't take 76 off the shelf.
come on now, you guys enjoy that game,
I know. It was just
right?
Yep.
So there was a game
hey,
called
for-
Death Race. It was pulled off the shelves. Basically, it was a game that was it was like an advanced version of Pong. And
Yeah.
to earn points, you actually run over these like gremlin things.
Yep.
As much as you can, given within the time frame.
yeah.
Now-
And I if I remember correctly,
That's so funny.
Death Race. Well, you said that came out in when?
1976.
1976.
1976, which very obviously supported the marijuana, homosexual, and Obama,
Right.
agenda. Yeah,
It really did. Yeah.
Yep.
And
Obviously.
that started a massive downward spiral of what we have now. I saw someone jaywalking the other day,
Yep.
and I'm pretty sure that was caused by ET.
It was
Absolutely.
You know what I
Damn it.
mean?
Yep.
It really kind of bothered me. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And
Should we outlaw ET?
right now
Are
I
you
play
sure
a
he
game-
wasn't just holding ET and he was just jaywalking to the
Right.
nearest dumpster to
Right.
like dispose of it?
Right. I played what did I play the other day? I played Yonder. I turned on Yonder the other day, and for some weird reason,
You picked up the AK-47
I wanted to push
and mowed
I
some
wanted to
motherfuckers
push
down.
an old lady down the stairs.
Yep.
I have no idea what was happening.
I mean, this one time I loaded up Bayonetta. I played it for a little while. Then I started masturbating profusely for some reason. I don't know how that connects.
for some reason,
But
like
it
you
can't
were
be
s-
good.
you must have been so
In
angry.
fact,
Right?
video
You're so
games
angry
caused
at
the
it.
exact opposite reaction, Eric. It caused him to get so excited that he masturbated.
Yeah,
Yep.
he was so happy about it.
And I gotta tell you, I played Skyrim earlier today, and I got so frustrated doing all the Thieves Guild quests that it made me want to go ahead and just go upstairs and just domestic assault my parents.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So here's the thing: like you look
God.
And
back
I don't even live with them, so that
You
doesn't
look
make
back-
any sense at all.
at the way people have consumed media over the years. Long before any of us were alive, when movies were still fresh and TV, people demonized those the same way they're demonizing video games now. You look back before that, there were the book burnings and shit like that. Like
Right.
Yeah.
whatever
Witches.
is the newest common way of people to consume media, it's going to get demonized by someone. Someone's going to look at it and go, "Oh, that's bad. That's what's messing up the kids today. It's not our fault for messing up the kids. It's
Right.
that thing's fault."
No, you're right.
It's blame shifting. Is all it is.
It is. It's pointing blame because of lack of whatever other reasons. But
Yeah.
the reality is, I sit here and see this all over the internet recently. For not for good reasons. It's not for good reasons.
For
No.
reasons.
For reasons.
Yep.
And I'm
just-
sitting
there's
there
no-
constantly thinking about
They
it.
just need another scapegoat.
Right. I'm sitting here constantly thinking about it. Games are art. This is art. This is somebody's art
Artistic
that
vision.
they're sharing with someone.
Yeah.
And that stuff is covered under the Constitution.
Yep.
How do they think they can? How do they think that they can attack
Someone's creative vision.
someone's creative vision
Right.
when you can't even attack the things that actually sometimes happen,
Well, then again-
that you can fix?
You can't really take these people seriously because the majority of the people that are trying to pass these laws were also responsible for part of the generation responsible for Chernobyl. And 60 years ago, they had entirely different sets of water fountains for different race.
Different races, yeah.
So,
yeah, right.
There's
Okay,
also
so
that.
Yeah, I know.
Here's something also really funny. We actually printed off a bunch of things that have happened since the 70s.
the 80s happened.
the
after
first
the 70s.
arcade game,
Then the
being released.
90s.
The first arcade games being released, the first home video game being the Odyssey being released in 1972. And I'm sitting here reading a lot of these headlines, and I'm going to share some of them with you guys. Let's do Indianapolis enacts an ordinance limiting minors' access to violent games. That's in the year 2000. And I'm going to tell you why I said that one first. This particular one right here was done by our government. It was done by, Indianapolis. These aren't people that had any sort of...
Wait, before... Go on.
Okay.
Your cell phone bill.
Did it just pop up on my phone?
Yes.
And we, we thought you should know.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Here's the thing. This stuff is done by very small... They put these laws in by very small research done.
Yeah.
I mean, they can just do that.
It's broad strokes.
Yeah.
All around.
So I start reading these other ones. Let's take 2001, for instance. The Surgeon General finds little correlation between media and violence. Okay, that means music, movies, video games.
Yep.
Okay. 2004,
And radio.
psychologist criticizes the claims about links between video games and violence. And then there's another one. Federal court finds Illinois video game statute unconstitutional. Okay? So here's what's happening. You have these government bodies that are saying, hey, guess what? This is bad. We got to stop this from happening. Let's enact all these fucking laws and prevent this from happening. But then you have these people that are professionals in their fields saying, no,
we've done
the
studies.
research. We've seen this.
We have evidence.
Boy, what is you doing?
Yeah, like
Like, are you really
can't
trying to
do
hide
that.
from the real problems,
You can't
man?
do that. It's really mind blowing that they don't just blame maybe themselves.
Yep.
Instead of just pointing blame to video games.
It's like the almost like it's almost like an exact mirror reaction from what's happening with the government saying, "Oh, climate change isn't a thing," and 99% of climatologists saying,
Here's a,
"What?
here's another one that kind of
But what?
They just slowly slide a graph across the table, like, here, you might want to take a look at this.
Have you
And then
been
they just
under
crumple
the
it up and throw it
table
in
for the
trash.
last 30 years?
Right,
Like,
Under the table."
So here's another one here. This is great.
Good.
So it keeps going. Let's go to 2005. A senator pushes for video game regulations. I will say that this was a U.S. Senator, Hillary Clinton. Okay. Also in 2005, a professional in their fields,
Professorson
debunks the theory and link between video games and gun violence. Again, a completely different group of people.
Well, why don't we just go ahead and just jump to 2008 here?
Okay.
Because I have some facts and figures in front of me.
He has a paper.
Yeah.
That means it's important.
It's even highlighted.
Super.
I highlighted it myself.
Okay. What do you got on there? I just gave you like 2 random pieces of paper.
Yeah. Lawrence Kuttner, PhD, and Cheryl K. Olson, SCD, co-founders of the Harvard Medical School Center for Mental Health and Media, write in their book Grand Theft Childhood: The Surprising Truth About Violent Video Games.
Right.
It's clear that the big fears, quote unquote, brandied about in the press, that violent video games make children significantly more violent in the real world, that children engage in the illegal, immoral, sexist, and violent act that they see in some of these games, are not supported by the current research, at least in such a simplistic form. That should make sense to anyone who thinks about it. After all, millions of children and adults play these games, yet the world has not been reduced into chaos and anarchy.
Wait, you're not you're not telling me that we're in anarchy right now?
Is the most professional form of shade I've ever heard
I love
thrown
it.
in the government's direction.
It's real. It's true.
It's true, yeah.
But
They were
it's
throwing
true.
some
All of
real
us-
shade in 2008.
I mean, all of us have been playing violent video games for pretty much our whole fucking lives. Am I wrong?
And I'm actually a
Between the
heroin
four of
addict
us?
murderer.
Go
figure.
I'm not a mass murderer. I'm more of a serial killer, personally, and I
Yep.
like to keep it more intimate.
Oh, you're the Zodiac
But,
killer. I heard.
There you go. But no, I mean, if anything, it's an outlet for aggression. You know, like
I
I'm
think
not
we can
saying
say that
that-
for all of us.
yeah, I'm not saying that any one of us would have gone and committed acts of violence or aggression had not been for video games. I'm not going that far. But at the same time, I know that there have been times, especially in my younger years, where, I'd be mad about a situation, some stupid thing at school or with my parents or whatever. I'd go pop in Conker's bed for a day, and I would forget all of my worries.
You're not a samurai
chop
sword wielding
heads
squirrel?
off, and I was fine.
Yeah, you guys just mentioned that you play video games to get out your aggression.
Yep.
To escape from it, almost.
You know what? Okay, yeah.
more of an
Okay, that's
escape
kind
than
of where I was going.
Yeah.
Now
I personally
that's
do it.
better.
I personally do it because I want to forget how sometimes I get pretty grouchy at work.
Yeah,
I
I
even
think
get
we
pretty
all
grouchy not working.
Have you seen the state
The
of
only
the world right now?
Yeah, I know.
I play GTA 5 because it's less crazy than the actual real world right now.
do. Dude, the crazy thing is that you're right.
It's like I play this game because running over a hooker and stealing the money is less crazy than what's happening in the world right now.
Yep.
Yeah. So
I think when I was
play
younger,
it
it was
to
more of an
forget-
outlet. As an adult, it's more of an escape. But yeah, still.
Right.
Yep. And I would, and this is again just my personal opinion. I'm not an expert in any sort of field.
Right.
Nor should I. If someone regards me as an expert in any field, I would avoid that person actually. But I would say that violent video games make you violent in the same way that playing professional sports games makes me a professional athlete,
Right.
or the way that playing Rocket League makes me a car.
Wait, hold on.
Wait,
Well
you're telling me
said.
that you're not a car?
I am
Yeah.
not, in fact.
Oh shit! Because
That's
I've
the
been
only
driving
reason
you this
Kelly's
been
entire
friends with you this
time.
whole
I
time.
heard you making car noises in the bathroom the other day.
Yep.
And I'm just curious if you turn into a car whenever you feel like you want to turn into a car.
That's a whole different thing. That's just fapping.
I was just,
It sounds
Yeah.
remarkably similar to car
Yeah.
noises.
Someone said that Fortnite makes them want to hit small children.
I just want to let you
Okay.
know that that's a whole different
Listen, I just
thing.
want to let you know that you know what, I'm not going to say it.
Yeah, I'm
Probably
not
best if
going
I
to say
don't.
what I was about
It
to
really,
say
it
either.
really is best that you don't.
Oh,
but
man.
that's
Yep.
okay. So
I'm going to say it in 20 seconds.
do it.
Oh, no, keep going. I'll say it.
okay. You literally want me to wait for 20 seconds. Okay. So video game violence. What I was trying to say earlier is I actually play the games just to forget that I'm just a little. I get heated at work. I get pretty heated at work. So I actually play it to forget that I was so heated. So the second I
Right.
start playing video games, it's literally work is gone. My life is just it's the only thing that matters.
And you
At
just
that
kind
point,
of
it's just a game.
you escape into this world.
Yeah, and I think people do use video games to be different places or to be in different
like-
Because
Yeah.
think about
different
it.
scenarios.
Because-
with the reality,
Yeah, because it may come as a surprise to people, but Kelly can't actually go back to ancient Greek times and live out that life.
wait,
He has to do it in a video
you
game.
didn't stab
Are
Caesar?
you,
Oh man, I killed him.
are you sure? I
just
watched
straight
those
up-
videos
I
of
killed him.
Kelly being that chick and
Yeah.
banging a bunch of people. And
Wait,
I've
okay, so
seen
I
it.
watched you play a game the other day, and there was like, you chopped a guy's head off. You're telling me that wasn't actually you doing that?
No,
Dude,
it was a caricature.
it was a
caricature.
caricature.
Okay. So what I was gonna say is that
A
it's okay
persona,
to
if you will.
lose yourself in a video game. It's okay to play a video game that's violent. It's okay to do anything like that. But I think when people play games like, let's say, what was that real life game? Half-Life? No, not Half-Life.
what are you talking about?
What the fuck was that computer game?
Counter-Strike?
Shit, I can't remember. There was a computer game that was like the real world. You can make real payments in it. You can
Are you
can
talking about
open
Second Life?
Second Life, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think when people
It's
lose...
literally 4 times more than Half-Life.
I think when people lose themselves and they lose the line of reality and then they cross over into it and it feels real to them. Now
I
they're
keep expecting you to
they're
go
behind a
into, like, that
controller.
M&Ms.
Huh?
keep expecting you to go into that Eminem song.
I'm not
lose
going
yourself.
to. But I think that people, the second they lose themselves in that form of reality, and they feel like they're protected behind this TV or behind this controller, that's really kind of more of a mental thing than the actual game itself.
Yep.
That they could do that anywhere. We see people that are on their keyboard saying, "No, that's not true. You're an asshole." Blah blah blah. But you say, "Dude, meet me outside." They'll never do that. You're
Yep.
protected
Cash me
behind your
outside,
keyboard.
How about that?
That's right.
Yeah.
You're a keyboard warrior. Same thing kind of happens to people that lose themselves, and you could say that with anything. This could happen with a book. It
Yep.
kind of could.
And you know what? There have been fucked up people throughout all of history. There's always going to be fucked up people that do fucked up things, and no video game is going to cause that. No movie is going to cause that. No book is going to cause that.
You were 2 fucks away from a Limp Bizkit song. Sorry, go ahead.
It ain't a shame that I can't say fuck, because fuck's just a word and it's all fucked up.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I don't know,
no,
man,
You
like-
know what I'm saying, though. Like, there's
I know
no,
what you're saying.
no
Back in
piece of
2000
media is
yeah.
going to cause a person to commit heinous acts of violence. That person was fucked up from the start. Like, that had nothing to do with anything what they watched or played.
Right.
I don't know, man.
Period.
Back in 2002,
They already had a problem before they
Yeah.
started playing it.
in 2002,
Yeah.
Marilyn Manson made me remove my ribcage so I could suck my own.
You
dick.
did that too?
Yeah,
You know that was fake news, right?
I know. That's why I put it back.
After he figured out that he couldn't
After
do
I
it.
found out that he didn't really do that, I put it back.
okay. Just kidding. All right,
Yep.
there we go. All right.
Back in place.
Someone give me a wrench.
Yeah. So, yeah, don't do that.
No,
No.
I won't again.
And you got better.
Yep.
Yeah. So you're the type of person that if everybody jumped off the bridge, you'd be like, "Yeah, I'd do that."
If everybody jumped off a bridge, I'll remove my ribcage and suck my own dick.
You'd have to. There wouldn't be any
No matter
people
what
left.
they do.
Who's gonna stop you at that point?
Oh my god.
There's nobody gonna. I think
It doesn't matter what they're doing.
that's true. Yeah.
That's the only thing I want to do.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's like,
My
hey,
dad
I
used to
bought
say
this-
that to me, and I used to tell him, "I can swim. I'm fine."
Yep.
What if there were rocks?
Yeah.
I hope there's not.
Someone's
Oh
like,
my
hey
God.
man, I just bought this new hat. You should buy this new hat too. I'm like, actually, you know what? I'm just gonna. I'll see you in like 3 hours. But
Have
Yeah.
you ever tried a Snickers?
what?
Have you ever tried a Snickers? He's like, no. Okay, I'll take my rib out instead. Oh my god!
Yeah.
Wow. No, it's fucked up, and I think I think as a last kind of word, if everyone wants to put their 2 cents worth in about last word, I think that video games absolutely do not cause the violence that they're saying that it causes. I also don't think that a massive amount of things are going to be done. There's not going to be any sort of sanctions on video games that happen.
Yeah.
I could open mouth and insert foot on that.
Yeah.
But there's been tons of proof against it, and I think with video gaming being $146 billion a year industry, we can fight this stuff. So
Oh,
I
yeah.
think it's important for people to know what's happening. Keep your ear out. If there's a petition going around to prevent something from happening, if someone says anything that you feel like putting your 2 cents worth in, do it, because as
It's
the more
important.
we
Do it
talk
because
about
Warehouse Gaming told you to do it.
the more we talk
Yeah.
about it,
That's right.
the more we talk about it, the more passion people get, and the
Yeah.
more people do things when they're passionate about things. If you're passionate about video games,
Or things.
be vocal about it. Be vocal about it. It's all I'm
Don't
saying.
And the
tell
thing
them
about it
Winterhouse
is
sent
like-
you.
Like,
Tell
read.
the Warehouse boys sent you.
read, form your own
They'll be like,
conclusions,
who?
make your own
Right.
thoughts about
you can
things.
form your
you
own
know?
conclusions. Yeah. I think generally on this type of thing, people do anyway.
Right.
I mean, if you firmly believe that it does cause violence, then just own up to it and say it does. You know what I mean? That's completely up to you.
And then, you know, in
If
the
you
event
do
that it
firmly
does
believe that, first of all,
happen.
why are you watching or listening to our podcast? Literally about
Well, they're not
fishing.
It's
anymore.
gonna be
The
like
numbers are going
It's
down.
going to be like an end game scenario if they do end up passing the
Right.
They're gonna go to the government. Took everything.
You
The
took
government's just like, I don't even know who you are.
I couldn't imagine the amount of rage that's going to happen if anything ever really comes of this. But I don't believe that anything will come of this.
No, you know what we have to do? If anything, like if this actually goes through, I'm speculating here, kind of extrapolating. We're gonna have to open up video game speakeasies.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Speakeasies.
Yeah, like when during Prohibition, man.
Oh
Like,
yeah,
and
yeah.
they
Okay.
banned
All right,
alcohol.
I
yeah.
got you now.
We're gonna have to
Yep.
have just underground video game lounges.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Looks like a dry cleaners on the front, but then you go in and give the secret password, and you get to go in the back and play all the games that we just imported from Japan.
As for the Bob Marley Extra Crispy.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know the funny thing, before we get to the end of all of this, I just wanted to point out that we did look at a chart of, the video game industry and the leading countries in that industry, and Japan and South Korea are 1 and 2. And those are 2 of the countries that have the lowest violence.
Yeah.
Like, period. And they're
There
the
you
2
go.
highest selling for video
Wait,
games.
which country were those?
So Japan's number 1,
Yeah.
and South Korea's number
You
2.
want to know why? They have amazing internet over there, so they don't lag. It doesn't
Yeah.
make them as angry.
No.
That has to be it.
They
Oh,
just
shit, why do we do
They
that?
have fast
Yeah.
internet, and so they just stay home and play StarCraft
Dude,
all day.
Yeah.
That's all they
Yeah,
do.
it takes seconds.
That's the life.
Maybe
you don't-
that's.
All you gotta do is
Maybe
that and get your
we
ribs
should start
removed,
doing
and you will have a perfect
But-
life.
I would
I
not
wanna-
be violent. I would not be violent if I had the fastest internet on the planet.
And if you could suck your own dick.
Yeah, yeah.
And
no,
suck
you're
your
okay.
own
All
dick,
right, all
yep.
right. I feel you. It is what it is.
So, actually, Phil Boyce actually just said something here that I want to touch on real quick. I gotta find it because go back to the comments. So, talking about movies. Nobody really goes after film. You know what? What about all the horror movies that you see where ghosts kill people, yet we're not banning ghosts?
We're just letting ghosts roam all over the place.
That's that's all ghosts do is haunt the shit out of people.
That's
So,
true.
Why not ban ghosts?
Well, what about
What's
Casper?
the deal with ghosts?
No, just because a couple ghosts, 13 of them, tried to kill some people.
Hashtag not all ghosts.
Hashtag not all ghosts.
That doesn't mean
Ghost
that
lives matter.
all of them are bad because Casper.
No, look at Casper. Exactly. We're on the
Yeah,
same wavelength here. Yeah.
Casper was a good
Casper
guy.
the Friendly Ghost.
Oh, look at what's it? Patrick Swayze.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
He was great.
Boom.
Hell,
dude, I love
Really?
getting ghosted.
Crazy Swayze.
Crazy Swayze.
Crazy Swayze.
Dude, he was awesome. I love Patrick Swayze.
Of course.
Of course,
you
who
did.
doesn't?
Yeah. So, I really don't know where we're going with this anymore.
So someone just mentioned too, discipline is a thing that could be lacking in these people that go out and commit these,
Well, we definitely
mass
don't have it.
murders.
Yeah, I mean, it's that it is true.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
We don't have it.
America definitely does
I
not
wasn't
have it.
disciplined in school. I was disciplined when I was younger, but I came out not all right.
Yep.
But you're right. There are a lot of different angles that can cause these things, and there's a lot of different reasons why that chart is either wrong or right.
It just comes down to troubled people. That's it.
Yeah.
Basically.
It takes a lot to get to the point where you're doing the things that these people have done. And I can't myself. I can't fathom it, but I don't think any person in their right sort of mind is able to understand it anyway.
well-adjusted
Right.
human
Right.
can't fathom doing something like that.
I mean, I don't see people saying, "Yeah, I get it." No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's
It's
not
just
something
not
that you
something
get.
that you understand. And
It's
and
not
none
like
of
I
us.
played Manhunt one time and went, "Yeah, this seems like
This
something
seems
I want to do."
plausible.
And then I
Yeah,
started
alright.
garroting people on the streets with piano wire and shit.
Yeah. I didn't play the one where you're a deer and you shoot humans, and I'm not afraid of deer. I mean, I feel fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Goat Simulator, though, that creates murderers.
Dude,
Yeah.
that one terrified.
I played Goat Simulator. Guess what? I became a goat.
Dude, I love playing Goat Simulator.
I played Goat Simulator, and then guess what? Suck my own dick.
That's pretty bad.
Actually, it wasn't. Have you tried it?
He's like, oh, it's not that bad.
It's actually not that bad at all. But
Oh my
you know
God.
what? No, I think the whole thing about this is that the focus was on the troubled youth part of this, where basically they're trying to kind of create the sweeping action just for one narrow subset of people that are not able to differentiate between real life and fantasy with these violent or otherwise, unrealistic video games. But you're trying to police everybody due to such a narrow margin of these people. You know what I mean? It's just,
right.
It seems...
So, Philip Boyce,
a narrow margin of people where there isn't even any evidence supporting that video games cause them to do what they do.
And
That's, in fact, there's quite a bit of evidence to the contrary.
right?
Realistically, what else can you do other than the ESRB and the PEGI rating system?
Yeah.
Which, it doesn't really work. I went
Peggy
in there when I was like
Peggy
16 to buy GTA 3, and the guy, EB, didn't give a shit. He straight up did not give a shit.
There's every once in a while there's someone that doesn't check IDs.
Yeah.
That happens.
Yeah, that does happen.
That's why we have
I've never
bar
been
programs.
checked once ever in my entire life. I've been buying
I haven't
video
either.
games of my own volition since I was 13.
Yeah, I've never been
I've never been checked either.
checked either.
Yeah.
GTA 3 is the only game I ever got carded for.
You're
Yep.
carded for it?
Yeah.
What year was that?
I was 13 when I was
I
trying
think
to
we
buy
talked
GTA
about
3.
this on the GTA.
We
Yeah, we
did,
talked
yeah,
about that on the
we did.
podcast a few episodes ago.
Did that? Oh, we did. Okay.
But yeah, but then my mom came in and I had her stand there and go, "This is my mother. I'm buying this game," and then the guy sold it to me. So it definitely wasn't, that big of a hurdle. It was just a minor annoyance.
Well, clearly now that you've told us that story, it's obvious that your mother is a terrible parent and doesn't care about your well-being or welfare.
Absolutely.
Because she let you
she's
buy that
basically
game.
trying to turn me into a killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, straight up.
Straight up.
And you know what? I'd say lock her up.
Lock her up.
Yeah, don't do that.
Lock her ass up.
Put your lotion in the basket. Oh
I
shit.
would call the police. Sorry.
Jason said that he got carded for Borderlands 2. So I wanted to say that's crazy. No, I guess it's not. It's still a violent game.
Well, how old were you at that time? I mean, I know you
I'm
were
curious.
always a tall motherfucker, but
Yeah. Well, if he's 6 feet tall and he's 11 years old, I'd probably not card him either.
right.
Philip Boyce says it comes down to mental health, period. It's not guns, it's not video games, it's mental health, something that gets ignored in this country.
Exactly. That's exactly it. That needs more focus.
Yeah,
Right.
I think it is ignored by a vast majority, but there are a lot of, there are people paying attention to it.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just not the right people. I don't know, or maybe it's
feel
being
like-
blinded by other things.
Yeah, I feel like awareness is starting to spread for mental health and stuff
It
like
is.
that.
It
It is,
absolutely
and
is.
I think more and more
Again,
it'll become.
It needs to be spread. Mental health is so important. That's what every decision that everyone makes ultimately is based upon their own mental health, their own mental well-being, including bad things like that. Like if those people would have got the proper care that they would have needed.
Maybe it could have helped
maybe-
prevent those things.
Yeah, taking away video
Right.
games wouldn't have done shit. They needed, professional help.
Yeah, they need actual help.
Yeah, but I don't think people can be so self-aware and kind of introspective as to
and
even be able to recognize that they
need help.
themselves have a problem.
And sometimes, a person's not going to help themselves unless they want to help themselves. If they think they're too far gone a lot of the time, they're just going to ignore that. I need help. I should get help.
Yeah,
It's true.
but then again, I do want to go ahead and just kind of remind everyone that at the end of the day, we're just four assholes on the internet who
Emphasis
kind of have a
on the
soapbox. We have a
Basically.
platform in which to talk about this, so we are not by any means professional. professionals.
No,
By
and
any
we're not
stretch.
by any means, super educated either. So
No.
Okay, so I just want to throw this out with this. Ryan Johnson is kind of giving us some comments back and forth.
Yep.
He said they're not trying to police video games. Come on, that's so uneducated.
Yep.
I just want to make kind of a comment with that. Anytime that a group is aiming towards any sort of regulations or even talking about it, I'm not saying Trump is talking about it. I'm not saying this person's talking about it. I'm saying as a whole, there are people out there that want to regulate or want to try to figure out
how to regulate?
Or prevent certain things from happening with video games. That's kind of form of policing. So maybe
It doesn't mean that they are policing yet, but they are trying to police.
I mean, they've been trying.
The fact that they believe
right,
that is the cause of these actions,
right,
and are trying to actively make steps to police those things.
Yeah.
We're not saying it's happening yet.
right. So he
yeah,
also
it's not
said
happening yet.
he also said that John Lennon was killed because of a book. Think about that. Reagan was shot because of a movie. Another thought. People might act out because of a game. If there's
But by that logic, all media should be outlawed. We
right,
shouldn't
right.
have movies.
Yeah.
We shouldn't have games. We shouldn't have books.
Kind of
We
I
should
mean,
just
things are-
have
right.
binary
You're trying to
lives
police
where we
something
sleep, we
because
go to
of
work, we go
something
home, and
someone
we sleep.
Might do.
right.
Shit,
Yeah.
like thousands were killed because of the
That's-
Bible. We should outlaw that.
There's
say-
another
Actually, really
topic
good
that
idea.
we
I would say millions. Millions.
I was,
Yeah.
I will
undershooting
sign
it,
whatever
but
petition you come up with for that.
So
You
I
might
mean-
be onto something here, buddy.
but yeah,
They
it's
don't call
not that
me a
that's not a
genius for
valid
nothing.
point.
I don't call you a
But-
genius at all.
It
No,
is a
they
valid.
don't.
It is a valid point, Ryan. But
It is,
the
yeah.
reality is,
It is.
there. Whoever along the lines has something up their ass about this and thinking it caused something else, whether it fuels it or not, that's one person's thought over another or whatever. I personally don't think that it fuels it. I really don't. I think that, yes, games can be violent, but at the end of the day, you turn it off. And if you can't separate yourself from the fact that this thing could be turned off, then, that's up to an individual person to either do or don't do.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of one of those things.
And I kind of understand to a certain extent where kind of he's coming from, where it gets to the point of kind of government regulation. Now, for example, the people who are opposed to government regulation of healthcare with Medicare for all,
Right.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely concerns about how effective it can be and how they're going to be able to do it. But I think that at the end of the day, we're not really educated enough to be able to kind of make calls as to how well that will work.
We're
Right.
just video game people.
Yeah, man.
We are hobbyists who are trying to defend the platform that we love,
Right.
or the entertainment medium that we love.
And a lot of times at the end of the
Based-
day, we don't ever talk about anything
Yeah.
that has to do with politics. We don't. We
We generally try to shy
don't.
away from this, but
If this was really
This
like
just seems
anything else,
something-
if this was instead of hamsters, instead of video games, this was like hamsters or something, we wouldn't even be commenting about it.
No, fuck
know what
you,
I mean?
dude.
I think they
Hamsters?
should outlaw model trains because the model trains are making people violent. Hey, remember we were saying we weren't going to spend half the podcast talking about this?
Yeah.
but that's
Yep.
the thing, when you're
We are.
talking about these things, it's always a touchy subject with someone.
Right.
It is.
Yeah.
So
Kenneth Hardy, I just want to say, what he wrote on here. If you can't distinguish between reality and a game, you have a problem.
Yep.
I agree with that.
yeah, and
So
that
wait a
comes
second, am
I
I
agree
not
with that.
playing?
and that
Am I
also
not playing GoldenEye right now?
that also comes down to you having a problem before blaming it on the video game entirely. Though it also just means you have a problem distinguishing your own reality.
Right.
Yeah.
Geralt, is that you?
Girl?
Actually, yeah, it's totally me.
Yeah. You know,
Okay.
who doesn't want to be... Has anybody ever thought of themselves in like a game? Has there ever been a game where you're like, man, would it be cool to go there? Or do or like physically do that?
I don't know, man. Because I thought to myself one day, hey, how cool would it be to be in Dark Souls? And then I'm like, no, I would just die. No, I would just want to jump off a cliff. I'm like, that would be terrifying. I wouldn't want to be in Dark Souls.
Well, when I was
No.
when I was a
No.
teenager, I thought it would be
No, thanks.
really cool to be in Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. So I borrowed one of my friends' skateboard and pretty much almost broke my tailbone the second I got on the thing. So then I stopped and realized that would be a terrible world to live in.
So as kind of a wrap up of this whole, video game violence, gun stuff, whatever. I'll say what I'm going to comment on what Ryan said. I'm not even going to comment on it. I'm actually just going to tell you what he wrote. Ryan wrote, exactly. Kids who are 15 sometimes can't make that decision. Kids who are 12 and developmental illness can't make that decision. Let me go back up to it. That's why you can't buy alcohol until you're 21. Can't go see an R-rated movie if you're 15. I love the platform as well. But y'all can't tell me you don't think that a kid who is 13 can just walk into a GameStop and buy GTA. Yeah, it happens. However, that's what regulations try to help. So kids who can't handle it don't have access.
We don't disagree with the regulations that are in place.
We don't. I'm not saying if I had a kid, I probably wouldn't have. Okay, you know what? No, I'm not going to use me. I don't have children. I don't know what I would do.
Outside of the rating
Eric-
system, what can
Eric
you
has
do?
has a child. He has a child that plays very closely with him video games. What do you allow your child to play, and what don't you allow your child to play?
I pretty much stick within the ESRB ratings. I mean, even though I was playing, rated M games when I was 13 years old, I'm not necessarily. I mean, I'll wait
Eric's a man of
until I
contradiction,
feel that he's.
everyone. So
I'll wait until I feel like he's mature enough for certain content before allowing him.
and
to
that
play
is your
certain
right as a
content.
parent to
And
be able to do so.
Right.
I will use my own discretion as such, and I encourage any other parents to do the same. Be informed about the games that your kids are playing. My son keeps talking about wanting to play Fortnite. He's 6 years old. I don't want him playing a game that has guns in it. Period. At this point in his life, just because the other kids in his kindergarten are
even
playing
more
Fortnite
so,
because
you
their
don't
parents
want
just
your
dropped
kid
them on
playing
Fortnite. Yeah,
Right.
it's mostly just because I don't want him playing Fortnite.
Yeah, fuck
No,
Fortnite.
So I agree.
He hears about it at school all the
is not for
time
me,
because the
but,
other
you know,
kindergartners are playing Fortnite all day long because their parents just they're like, oh, it's a free game, who cares, whatever, download it, play it all day, whatever. I don't want him playing games that violent yet. I don't feel like he's mature enough to understand that kind of stuff at this point. So, he plays stuff like Minecraft. He plays stuff like Mario. He plays, games that, I mean, the most shooty game that he plays with me is Cuphead. And even that, he gets frustrated with it within 5 minutes and stops playing anyway. So,
Right. Right.
there you go.
So-
I just think that parents
It's
should
based off of discretion.
Yep.
Parents should be informed that you know your own child better than anyone else. You should, if you know that your child has a mental condition of any sort, has any mental health issues, you should be very closely watching the type of content that they consume, or even if they don't have a mental health issue.
Right.
But I would say that it's a generational thing because you, Eric, already have way more of a leg up than almost any other generation of parent because, like my parent couldn't comment. Like they couldn't be in that state of mind because they didn't play video game.
Well, what
you
about
know?
movies? I mean, movies is the same concept. There's a rating for movies. I should never have
My
watched
parents
it
were like
when I
100.
was...
The last movie I'm sure they watched was Gone with the Fucking Wind.
And
So, like,
David
whatever.
Barnes actually brought up a good point too. It's teaching your kids the difference between reality and fantasy. If you're going to let your kids even touch content like that, if you're a parent, it's important to basically let them know and show them the difference in these things, and let them know what is societally very incorrect and not good to do.
Right,
Yep.
exactly. So,
And
go ahead.
I kind of want to put my kind of final thoughts on it. Put a
Top
Hit
hat
it.
on it.
button on it.
A
The
button.
final
I'm gonna go with what
comments
Gabe
for
Barnes
the
says.
18th
I
time.
thought we blamed the acacia strain for all this already. Time to move on.
Yeah.
They just brought the
Yeah.
beat down.
They just,
Yeah.
There it is.
they just did it.
So,
The
yeah.
acacia
So,
strain.
I
thank
told
you,
not to
everyone.
do
Stop
it,
shooting
but
people.
Yeah.
did
Thank you,
it.
everyone,
Trying to
who,
say.
in
Yeah.
the comments
don't
for
believe
giving
you.
your 2 cents. I know
Seriously,
it's a
guys,
very
you-
divisive topic. I know it's a hot commodity issue right
Yeah,
now.
hot commodity item.
And it's very polarizing. We totally get that. We know that everyone won't agree with what we're saying, and
Yeah.
we, trust me, that is not lost on us
And it,
at all.
that's
But,
exactly
I
why we want to talk
wanna
about
thank
that.
you.
It's a discussion. It's a discussion that needs to be had.
Yeah.
And we
And
appreciate the comments and
we
the
really
feedback.
do. And Ryan, I specifically want to thank you for coming in there and setting one thing straight or another. We do appreciate both sides of this. We really do.
Seriously.
And that's something we've actually never had on the podcast because we don't talk about this type of stuff. We
Yeah.
talk about video games. We make
Yeah.
dick and fart jokes. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what we like to do.
I mean,
this
we're
just seems
kinda
super
comedic
important
people.
because I haven't really talked to anyone about it, and I don't go on forums and yell at people or tell one thing or another or agree with anybody on forums.
You know
I
what-
just avoid it at all costs. And I figured being here talking to my best friends about this and our fans, that was kind of more important to me than going on those insane Facebook groups.
Yeah.
No, you mean you don't
Yeah.
get you don't get your news from
mean
freedom.eagle that Hillary Clinton invented AIDS?
Exactly. So yeah. So I thank you, for that. We appreciate it.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's all fun and games.
Yeah. Although
Until someone gets hurt and loses an eye.
you know what's actually kind
What's cool?
of, is that having since started when I was gaming and being a part of it, and kind of like now that we're being like kind of known as like the video game people, I have I have people that will like message me on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like I must have received 3 messages yesterday with a link
Mhm.
about the video game blaming thing.
Yep.
Because they
Oh,
thought
yeah.
it would be topical to me, and I'm
Yeah.
like, that's actually really cool.
Yeah.
That like I'm kind of like the first person that people think of.
Yep.
I'm like, oh, the One House Gaming guys should know about what's happening. Like, trust me, I know
I would
about what's
say
happening.
I would
but-
say that we're the first person because I
Yeah.
get those too.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you, yeah.
I haven't
Did
received
you-
any
did
about
you-
the most recent topics.
Fist bump,
but-
boys. Yeah.
Yeah. Fist bump.
Fist bump.
I
But
want one
anyway,
too.
yeah, it's
Eric's in Florida. We can't give him a real one.
yeah. So it's definitely been fun chatting about this. We really do appreciate it, and thanks for listening because this was different.
Yep.
But
This is the realest we ever got.
it
on
might not happen again. Not
Yeah.
this
Oh,
particular
fuck.
topics
No,
ever again.
probably
We're
not.
gonna go back to video games next time.
Yeah.
We like being comedic, funny, crazy assholes,
Yeah.
basically.
Yep.
So
Also,
I
you
mean,
know what's
I
funny?
mean, when topics like this come up, we don't want to, completely shy away from them. But generally, us, we're about the dick and fart jokes and talking about waifus and
yeah,
stuff
I
like
mean,
that.
but I also want to kind of make clear that when something like this comes along, I mean, we definitely won't shy away from it, because not
I
only
think it's
not
important.
not only are we One House Gaming, but we're also people with opinions,
this is
Yeah,
true.
you know what I mean?
Right. And beliefs and
We're-
morals
we're
and
also
values and
private citizens.
Yep.
It's
true.
what are you talking about? I live off the grid, dude. I'm not
I
a
live,
citizen
on,
anywhere.
I live on Mars because I
Wait.
played the Far Cry DLC and
Wait, how do you get your internet?
don't ask. Comcast.
Those electrical
He's
bikes
off
that
the
you
grid,
get.
but his
Yeah.
internet
Just
connection is on the
creates-
grid. It's all
Oh,
very
okay.
complicated.
Okay.
I went to Staples about really long.
I'm not off the grid, but my outhouse has internet, so I have to go in there to stream.
Fuck living off the grid, man. I want to be more on the grid.
That's right.
There's a campsite
Grid,
nearby in the woods that has
grid.
Wi-Fi, so
Yeah. All right. So, we've got some things coming up that are going to be really fun. October
We do.
20th, we have actually. You know what? Let me start in order.
You start in order, Dave.
Mhm.
August
in order,
28th.
damn it.
August 28th, we are doing
25th, right?
25th. That's what I said.
You said 28th.
Sure.
Come on now.
No, he said 25th.
August 25th, we're doing a Smash and Mortal Kombat tournament at Queen City Cinema Club.
Mortal Kombat and Smash.
Mortal Kombat
Yeah.
and Smash, yeah. So
God,
that's going to be a lot
Dave.
of fun. We're also doing a 10th anniversary party in September sometime.
Yeah.
We have to talk about that directly after the podcast.
Yep.
For a company called 3D Games.
30 games.
30 games.
3D
That's right.
games.
Yeah.
They're saying that as an
30
inside
games.
joke.
And an incest joke.
An
What?
incest
3D
joke.
games. 3D games
An
is like
insect joke?
3D Games is a local GameStop. Basically same type of thing, but it's locally owned by a family.
Wow,
And they're
insult
really,
3D games.
I know. I'm
Yeah.
so sorry.
Cool.
You called it a game stuff.
October
Ooh.
20th, we are doing
That's an
the
insult.
Bangor Comic and Toy Con halfway show.
Yep.
And we're having a tournament there, Mario Kart, and we're giving out $300.
To
To the winner. Not we're not
winner.
just giving it away. But
the
we're giving
winner.
out a $300 prize to the winner of the Mario Kart
Yes.
tournament.
And that is
which could
directly
be-
sponsored by Bangor Comic and Toy Con.
So, yeah, get your ass there.
Basically.
Nicholas, thank you very much. That is such a kind comment. He said, "You guys are the shit and good people. Thanks for sharing the podcast. It's a good topic that should be discussed." We absolutely
Yeah, you're right.
100% agree.
You
It
are
is,
right.
Yeah.
it's very kind of reaffirming
thanks,
to hear
man.
that. So thank you.
So
once again.
we only have X amount of time to available for the month that we pay for to post the podcast. So we actually have to stop it now.